to the city and to be used for recreational park. They donated some land also to the NC State, so part of the campus was part of the original homestead. Different things involved with it, like there was a zoo there for a while before the zoo in Asheboro. They had the first public swimming pool there in Raleigh. It was a place for the people here in Raleigh to gather and be together in the community, and so that continues to happen now. You know, our grounds are beautiful. We work really hard to make sure that they stay beautiful. There's always flowers and trees, and you know, it's well maintained, and our staff are welcoming and engaging with our guests. And I think that has a lot to do with people feeling good when they come.
The sort of recent history is a combination of the Dix Hospital campus, which opened and was serving patients as early as 1856 and did not close until 2012. Now, as we get closer to present day over the last decade or so, you have the hospital campus shared with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Effectively, this has been a state-managed sort of landscape facility in some capacity since 1856. Now, prior to that, you have a campus that is home to a plantation. And so a lot of land here, plantation land, and then prior to that, you've got indigenous land.
I'm curious if you have any relationship or dialogue with justice-involved folks or with Central Prison.
There's an artist we're working with named Lamar Whitby, who has a professional background both in the arts, but he's also a licensed clinical mental health counselor. Early on in his own practice, he merged these two interests by working with folks who were on death row. And that death row experience still very much informs his relationship to art as a healing practice. I anticipate his piece will likely come to life. These institutions, this former insane asylum, the penitentiary, and the School for the Deaf and the Blind, these were populations outside the mainstream. So in the 1850s, 60s, that was a very common practice to take these so-called, challenging populations and set them on the outskirts of your sort of main city.
I don't think people are really aware that Raleigh, of course, has one of the largest visual impairment communities across the state, probably only second to Charlotte. And when thinking about our community, the one thing that we always are strong advocates for is thinking about how we continue to make our transit systems more accessible, more relatable, more understandable, more in a light where routine can be involved for our students and our adults, so that way it makes it a little more safe for them, more opportunity for them to understand how to use it and use it effectively, but then also for them to feel comfortable in being able to access it at every point, at every bus stop across the city. And that's a statewide goal. We just recently had school zone signs added around our school. Our school's been there 100 years. Nobody's thought about, hey, this is a school and we need the same protections and the same supports as someone who has perfect sight. At the different street corners, we have those little, we'll call bubbly pads, because that's what most people know them as. But that's actually for folks that have visual impairments, so that they're able to know where to stop, where to go. If there were things at our bus terminals and at our bus stops that folks could feel braille-wise, to be able to support their understanding of where they are, those are things that would make them safe, let them know they're in the right place, and be able to have more confidence in accessing public transportation. You have people with a range of visual impairments, and so some are able to see shadows, some are able to see faintly different colors, others are completely blind. I think the more that we can add both audio and kinesthetic is probably the most appropriate.
So, my understanding especially with the BRT system, is that we should be bearing witness to full-on stations kind of along the corridors, which would be nice. And so when I think of a station, I think there's certainly more space that is shaded, structured, more space for seating, more space for information and guidance, wayfinding, that sort of thing. But then also in the context of that space, there's an opportunity to, create moments that are delightful. I think everyone deserves that.